I'm sure there's more than 84 million Nigerians with a bank card. Maybe some rural areas, a lot of people might not, but majority of Nigerians have, access to bank now, even in the rural area. So what I'm expecting is in 2023, when we're going to be going for that next election, not this one, INEC, the government, to do more to have everyone to at least have that PVC. Because while I was traveling, during my trip, in Lagos to Ondo, to Abuja, I did a lot of Ondo, I think about 2 or 3 times. Each time we were having a stopover, people know what they want, but maybe sometimes we need to, enlighten them a little bit more. It's still sad that we have even a lot of children that are roaming around selling. I mean, in Kogi State, when we had that stopover, and the video is out there for those of you that might want to watch it, might go on my, my page, and you'll be able to see that more children are hawking in Nigeria, and these are the reality, these are the issues. So I'm going to go straight to Lagos now, where I have my guest that will be joining us tonight to tell us a little bit more of the next 30 days. What is it all about, for the next 30 days? And, we hope we can get a little bit clarity on that. Once again, this is Niger Voices coming to you on Starr Radio UK, your finest Afro-Caribbean radio station. So it's still a big problem if we don't have a lot of people on that register to vote. So right now, I could tell you that we've got hello. Okay, let's get through that again. Once again, while we're still trying to get through to Lagos, Nigeria is. I was struggling with the network. It's amazing that we've not really invested so much in the network. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Yomi.
Thank you very much for joining me on this special first day of the Niger Voices. Listeners, bear with us. My guest is on the move. He's in Lagos. He will tell us his name in just about a few minutes. But before I let him introduce himself, it will also be nice that a lot of you understand that we talk and talk in Nigeria, but what we've not done in the process is we've not really applied action, to what we talk about. We can talk about the problem in Nigeria, but how are we also going to get involved, in whatever way that we can? And that is what we're going to be looking at, between now and 8 p.m. But right now, thank you very much. If you would like to introduce yourself to all our listeners, and we can take it from there.
My name is Omoshola Deji, a political and public affairs analyst from Lagos, Nigeria, and it's the moment to talk politics. So let's get started.
Wow. Thank you very much. And for those of you that are watching us, it will be better for you now to join us on the Facebook page so that you can be able to listen to our political analyst that will be giving us a deep insight of the election. And that is for those of you watching on Instagram. Join us on Starr Radio UK on Facebook, and you'll be able to enjoy, the remaining of this program. Once again, let us kickstart. It was nice to see you in Nigeria. And I know you're still out there, doing what you do best. I mean, you speak on different, media platform, and I can only say, even though on a very short notice, you've been able to come down and speak to my listeners. 30 days to the most important election in Nigeria. Where do we go from here?
Well, it's 30 days to the election in Nigeria, and people are anxious. There is so much uncertainty in the polity right now, And the election campaign is in earnest. We're having a lot of calumny campaign whereby people try to smite themselves, decimate themselves. That's what we have much right now. But then there's a lot of anxiousness. If you look at the political campaign as it is now, it's not like the one we had in 2015. Like the ruling party is not spending so much on campaign like ex-president Goodluck Jonathan did in 2015, and the campaign has not been so intense. Before in Nigeria, you will know that election is very much fast approaching. Like election in Nigeria then and now is like when we were much younger, and Christmas is coming. There's always a lot of fanfare. Christmas is in the air. But nowadays during Christmas, it's not really like the olden days then. So I think that is what we have now in terms of the campaign. The campaign now is not as it used to be before. So many people are putting that on the anti-corruption policy and the approach by the APC ruling government not to spend much on the campaigns. But all in all, Nigerians are anxious. They are waiting. They are eager to cast their vote. And I believe all things being equal, by February 16, Nigerians should be able to cast their vote. How the election will go, the possibility of it being free and fair, I think that one is another thing entirely on its own. But looking forward, I think all coasts are clear for Nigeria to have the presidential election come February 16, 2019.
Wow, you said something that caught me there. Nigerians are anxious. I'm just looking at the update from INEC. INEC is bringing the permanent voters card close to you for collection. We still have numbers of Nigerians that have not picked up their PVC. So how can they be anxious? Let's take it from
Well,
there.
the Nigerians are anxious, but the people that are most eager about the political terrain is the politicians themselves. Nigerians are anxious to vote, to cast their vote, but most PVCs are uncollected because it's like a scale of preference, an hierarchy of needs. In Nigeria, people need to hustle. The poverty rate is high, so people would rather go seek their daily bread rather than go and collect their PVCs. It doesn't mean they are not anxious. It doesn't mean they are not interested in the electoral process. But on a scale of preference, they would rather go and seek their daily bread. And while seeking their daily bread, in the Western world, people hustle and relax. But in Nigeria, people want to hustle and die there. Die there kind of hustle. Because we believe that the more we hustle, the more money in our pocket, the more we can solve our problems. We don't have this so much culture of relaxing. As we in Nigeria only relax when there is no more thing to lay on our hands on. As long as we are still seeing one job or the other, we still want to hustle. So based on that, Nigerians would rather go and seek their daily bread than to go and collect their PVC. That has limited, but you will see that these Nigerians that have refused to collect their PVCs are still talking about the election. You see them debating about the election. Oh, whether it's Atiku, Showore, Buhari. You see a lot of this caucus, 2 people, 3 people, group of 6 kind of political talks about the election. Then I said on a particular platform that one of the advantage of vote buying is that it has increased voters participation. It has increased citizen participation in the electoral process. Nigeria being the world poverty capital and we have so much poverty in the system now, people know that once they have their PVC, they can be able to get some little amount from the politicians. They can be able to get a bag of rice, groundnut oil, and all these, stipends that they do give out during election period. And there are some people that they really depend so much on these stipends that they don't want it to pass them by. So, and before they issue out this stipend and all these little gift handouts, you must present your PVC. So PVC itself has increased people's participation in politics, political participation, because a particular gain had been attached to it. It would have been worse. So many more millions of people would have left their PVCs uncollected, because if there is nothing to gain when they collect their PVC, but because they can get some little money from the politician, people have been collecting their PVC, and those that have not collected their PVC is because of the scale of preference.
So are we
something
saying,
like the mass hierarchy?
sorry to interrupt there. So are we saying now that having a PVC has become, a kind of big market for some individuals, knowing that from someone, I won't mention the state, individuals got to where they were meant to pick up their PVC, only to find out that those PVC, indicated that they've been collected, even though, these individuals are saying they have not been the one to collect the PVC. And I remember a lot of time I was visiting, my barber and having my hair cut. Just going back to what he was saying to me, look, brother, you might be coming from a different angle. If someone is going to give me 10,000 naira, I'd rather collect that 10,000 naira, and bargain with my PVC. Even though a lot of people, and not just, I don't want to use the word the diaspora, majority of people will say selling your vote for 4,000 naira, 3,000 naira, a bag of rice, then there won't be any development. And I just want us to touch a little bit more on that, because we still have a lot of other issues that are on stake that we need to discuss. 30 days to the election, and it is very, very important. If you've just joined us, on the line with me all the way from Lagos, Nigeria, is Mr. Omoshola Deji. He's a politics and public affairs analyst. He's got an MA politics and international relations at University of Nottingham. He also studied political science at Olabisi Onabanjo University. He's currently in Nigeria, but now his base is in somewhere in Singapore, which is a completely different, story entirely to what Nigeria looks like. If somebody is living in Singapore, you could tell, it's a massive difference. So let's look on that more, on the bargain of, I have my PVC, make a collect, this 4,000 naira, and then leave everything to the politician to decide my future for the next 4 years. Going back to you now.
Well, the thing is, there is so much poverty in the system. When you are impoverished, your self-defense is very, very weak. You have a little bit of pride in you. You cannot make so much defense. You lose your principle. You lose your prestige when you are impoverished. And because Nigeria is the world poverty capital and so many people are impoverished, you would see a situation whereby their self-defense is weak. Naturally, for somebody that is poor, would put himself down so low, even because of 1,000 naira, not to now talk of 10,000 naira. So we have a situation whereby politicians are so bad that they would suffer people for almost 4 years. You were in Nigeria recently, and I'm sure that you can make a comparative analysis of the difference between the Nigerian economy, socio-political economy, and that of the United Kingdom. And you see that there is a very sharp contrast between both. So in an environment whereby there's poverty, there's no social incentives, definitely you will expect people to sell anything sellable. And right now, this election period, PVC is the hot cake right now.
Amazing.
If you are if you have a PVC right now, you are like a new bride to the politicians because you are the ones that they are looking for. That is why you see that in most states, if you want to get a job in the civil service, get a contract or anything, they request for PVC. If you want to register your child in school, they request for the PVC of the parent. This is a means of encouraging voter participation, discouraging voter apathy, making people more political than apolitical. But then it is not really because they want to increase political participation. They just want to amass the PVCs, because once you can get the PVC, you see people. We have a situation in Nigeria right now whereby people are negotiating, are negotiating votes. Okay, how much are you going to, I want to go and vote now. How much are you going to give me? Okay, I'll give you 5,000. No. I can't collect 5,000, 10,000. You see people open negotiation of vote buying, and people fail to realize that once you sell your vote, see, we are breeding political investors. And do you know the danger about breeding political investors is that, look at, in Nigeria now, there's no clear pathway to success. Like you struggle to gain admission, you finish from school after NYSC, there's no job. And now, since we have now monetized our political process, what is the danger of that? And you know that anything that Nigerians starts, it escalates like wildfire. Before, people were kidnapping in other countries. When Nigeria started, you see where we are now. So this vote buying that we have started in this country now, the implication is that when the people that call themselves youth, when they are going to be occupying political office, how many good youth, how many sincere youth, how many intellectual youth, we have that kind of fund to spend to go into political office. So on the long run, what you are going to have is, as future leaders in Nigeria, since our political process is monetized, if we don't act carefully, we are going to have Yahoo boys, fraudsters, drug baron as political leaders in the country.
Wow,
and that will tell you where the country is going. Because ordinarily, Mr. Yomi, you are living a legitimate life. You are living, you are not surviving on foster. Tell me, my brother, do you have the funds to contest for House of Assembly in Nigeria? Do you think you have the funds? You don't have the funds. Now, who have these funds now? It's all these Yahoo boys fraudsters. So if our political process keeps on getting monetized, it will tell on the leadership of this country, because on the long run, even if we have intellectual people in government, they will be incapacitated, because it is those Yahoo boys, those fraudsters, those drug barons, those kidnappers that have amassed so much wealth through the illegal means, that will be acting as godfathers for the intellectuals that are contesting.
Wow, amazing! Just before we move to the next point that is on this election, if you've just joined us, do like the page, invite your friend. Niger Voices is back every Wednesday between the hours of 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time, and also the studio line will be open, but not yet until we get so much from Mr. Deji, joining me all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you very much, all the way from Liverpool, Kudus, Olamide, Otegbayi. We couldn't catch up while I was in Nigeria, Muhyiddin, and all the way as well, Mr. Archie. I just want to look at the Financial Times of January 6, 2019, at exactly 8 p.m. by Neil Mushi in Lagos. Nigerians feel economic pinch as presidential election looms. And this is just, to check on, on what exactly, we've been discussing in the last few minutes. Worries over growth and unemployment are dominant concerns ahead of the February vote. At the New Market in Lekki area of Lagos, Nigeria, Joy is a painter. A customer toes bright yellow. It is one of the few bits of business she has done all day. Customer coming, but not really that much because they don't have money and there's no job. Said the 23-year-old beautician, the economy is not really good. So, as much as the economy has now not been very good, and this is the Financial Times, that has, wrote this report on the 6th of January. As Africa's most populous nations heads towards presidential election in February, it is roughly 200 million citizens are feeling the pinch of a sluggish economic growth. So now let's look at some of these political parties that are campaigning. I've seen some at the Mechanic Village. I've seen some, at different location. We've seen the vice president moving house to house, which is, I think I love that kind of house to house campaign. If only we can, embrace that, because this is the way it is done in United Kingdom. When the MP wants my vote, you come and knock on my door and you will tell me what you want. So we can only hope that it won't just be of the monetary aspect of it. It will also be of more face-to-face interaction. Let's now look at it. The economy of the country is not really growing as fast, but statistics is saying we might grow a little bit. But in the reality check with all these political parties, 30 days to the election, I'm sure you've been able to study a lot of their manifesto. You've been, observing, you've been listening to them. I think they had a debate on housing not 2 days ago. Whether the debate on the Saturday would take place or not, we are hoping we will get somebody, from African Action Congress, to be able to tell us. If you're watching us on all our social media, you might want to put a comment. But as what I heard from Omoyele Sowore yesterday is still an ongoing case. Which of the political party manifesto have you been able to see that you think, well, if they come back, if that's APC, or if PDP comes in, or if Eladro comes in, or if any one of them, or Sowore, or any one of them do come in, will move Nigeria a little bit from where we are now? Because I got to be honest with you, I saw the poverty. It's not something we can shy away from. I saw it with my bare eyes. There's a lot of poverty. But looking at what they are telling us now for Nigerians to vote for them, I hope they won't come in and say, well, it was, if APC gets kicks away, Sowore will say, well, when I didn't know that there's no money in the coffer. So what is your take on that?
Well, the reason why we have a lot of unfulfillable promises is because
because a lot of them are giving us some kind of promises now. And one thing is, Donald Trump promised America a war. He's demanding the money now. If only the Nigerian politicians can do the same thing, that we promise you this and that, and they will fulfill it, not coming in and they start giving all these flimsy excuses. It's Starr Radio UK, Niger Voices, and live with me from Lagos is Deji. I'd like you to respond to that, please.
Okay, the reason why we have a lot of unfulfillable promises is because Nigerian politicians tell people what they want to hear. Like in 2015, when the APC then presidential candidate, who eventually emerged president, incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari was campaigning. He campaigned, with a lot of so many things that you would think that by now Nigeria should at least be competing favorably with maybe South Africans in terms of socioeconomic development. But what do we have? We have politicians that brings out, all these sugar-coated campaign promises, and Nigerians do not ask the methodology at which they intend to fulfill those promises. If you say that you are going to turn a naira to a dollar, for example, Nigerians should be able to ask, please, how? I think this is a matter of how question. Nigerians don't ask the how question. And if you don't ask the how question, how will you come back later to ask the why question? If you don't ask how I'm going to fulfill a promise, Will you come back to ask me why I didn't fulfill it? Of course, I will always give you one excuse or the other. So we have a lot of things, and now most of the political parties tends to say they have campaign promises, and I can tell you the majority of their campaign promises are based on providing the essentials. Nigeria, Africa most populous nation, we are still campaigning with we'll fix road, we'll fix light, we'll pay salary constantly. When nations of the world are competing in terms of technological advancement, now what do we have in our manifestos? Those are the things that we have there, and rather than focus on these manifestos during campaign, what do we have? We have campaign of calumny in a situation whereby you see people during campaign. Most of these political parties, they don't address the issues. They just come on stage and dance, sing, make merry, make endorsement and say, oh, we'll pay salary as at when due and all that. Now, and Nigerians are not asking the questions. So that is one major issue. So there are a lot of political manifestos, but the political manifestos that we have lacks methodology. In advanced countries like the UK, France, Canada, Australia, if you are coming up with any proposal to the people on why you should be elected, if you are putting forward a promise, you are going to put a realistic methodology of fulfilling that promise, how you are going to achieve what you are saying. But we don't have that in Nigeria, and sadly enough, politicians most times focus on our weak points, the ethno-religious sentiment. They would rather than focus on the issues, they appeal to our ethno-religious sentiments. And because Nigerians are still largely divided and segregated based on ethnicity and religion, we support people not because of their campaign promises, but basically because of their ethnicity and their religion. You find people, wanting to kill themselves because of their ethnic man. Whatever the person is saying, whether good or right, whether correct or not, is not a source of concern to them. What they are after is, oh, he's a Muslim, I'm a Muslim. Oh, he's a Yoruba, I'm a Yoruba. He's a Hausa, I'm a Hausa. So all these things are limiting the efficiency of both the ruling and the opposition parties that are seeking to grab power to address the basic issues. Now, our political exposure, our orientation, our ethno-religious sentiment, our demand, our inability to probe, to ask the right questions is what is limiting the effectiveness of political manifestos with, I emphasize, with methodology. It is easy for you to come forward and say, okay, Yomi Koiki, I'm going to provide 24 hours electricity in Nigeria, when now Nigeria just generates like 4, 5, or 6,000 megawatts. Now, people should be able to ask, please, Mr. Yomi, how is the right question here? How are you going to provide this? Then when you tell them how, they can be able to hold you whether you are making a realistic promise or not. And at the end of the day, even if you make a realistic promise and you give them the methodology, when you are unable to achieve it, they have something to score you on. Then they come with the why question. This is how it is done in advanced clients. But here in Nigeria, we don't ask the questions and we focus more on ethno-religious sentiment. I think that is really affecting political manifestos implementation in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. If you've just joined us, this is Starr Radio UK, and live with me is Mr. Deji, all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. And in just about 5 minutes, the phone line will be open 0208 133-2257. You'll be able to join the conversation, and so that we can also hear your view as well. Keep sharing the page, and also if you want to sponsor the show, do get in touch with the studio, and we'll be more than welcome to take you on board. Let's look at some of the other issues. And I like once again, thank you very much. At a very short notice for joining this program. Maybe next week you'll be able to join via Skype, and then we can be able to see his voice. I mean, his face as well. The question a lot of people are asking is, APC is saying, look, we've only been there for 3.5 years. We can't do, we are not magician. In as much as, yes, I mean, they gave us, a lot of their, plan ahead when they were coming in 2014. But when they've got to the power, they're telling Nigerians that, look, PDP were just spending money when we had the crude oil at $100 per barrel, and no infrastructure has been done. We've been there now. We're fixing the road. We are doing the the rail service from Lagos to Ibadan. We are trying everything. Yes, people thought the Minister for Power and Works was just going to be a magician, and that is Babatunde Raji Fashola, and we hope we will have him in the studio with us very soon. We will let you know if as soon as we can get through to him. So people were expecting maybe too much, or maybe from what they've told us we're coming, we're just going to have 24 hours electricity, and that is the same thing that Omoyele Sowore is giving Nigerians now, in terms of we will put in everything, we will make sure there's enough electricity. I will turn Nigeria to a workforce. But I hope by the time, if he gets there, he won't tell us, he didn't realize that there were some problems out there. But that is not the area I want us to touch on now. Let's look at, is INEC ready for this election? I mean, from what you've been looking at, you've been in Nigeria almost, and you've been following what is happening. Is INEC ready to deliver the 2019 election to Nigerians and to the wider world community? Okay, bear with us there while we're still trying to reconnect back. I hope you got the question, Mr.
Yep,
Deji.
connected.
I hope you got the question.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Well, INEC, yes, please. INEC is ready to conduct this election, but the question is, how sincere, how transparent is INEC? How transparent will INEC be in this election? INEC has been trying to keep up to the election guidelines and procedures to be able to meet up with the February 16th date of the presidential election. And all things being equal, from the indication of things, the election is going to hold as scheduled. But INEC has not been able to appear so transparent as they ought to be, because even the government of President Muhammadu Buhari himself has not been able to prove that so much transparency in the electoral process. And I will explain that. There is a critical question in the study of politics, that to what extent can a candidate put in place a transparent electoral process in an election that he or she is participating in? To what extent can you really go in an election that you have that is of major interest to you? We have a situation whereby INEC, which is the electoral umpire, and in conducting election, the police is going to lead in the provision of security. Then, if the situation goes out of hand, we have the military and the civil defense. Now, all these agencies come together to ensure that the election is conducted in a free and fair manner. But the kind of electoral process that we are putting in place now, we have the heads of INEC from a particular section of the country, and I want to explain this very clearly. Now, we have the head of the electoral umpire. The head is from a particular section of the country. The head of police is also from that section of the country. So also the head of the military. So also the head of the civil defense. So now we are going into a national election, and we have the two major candidates from also the north. Now, the incumbent president is from the north. His main challenger is also from the north. The head of INEC is from the north. Head of police, head of military, head of civil, they are from the north. If you look at this structure carefully, we are having a national election being conducted by regional men. That alone undermines the transparency of an electoral process. The 2019 presidential election is a national election. The conduct of that election should reflect the plural nature of the Nigerian state. Rather than having this regional approach, we cannot have a national election being conducted by regional men, and we now expect that such a process will be free and fair. Now, the two main candidates are from the north, but then how do you serve other candidates that are from other regions of the country justice? Somebody like Omoyele Sowore, who is from the south, how do you serve justice to him? Now, somebody like Obi Ezekwesili, somebody like Fela Durotoye, it is injustice. And now, to now make things work, we have this nepotistic approach in the appointment and structure of INEC. See, there's a difference between morality and justification. That something is justifiable doesn't mean it is moral. That something is moral doesn't mean it is justifiable. And for you to come clean, you have to always balance the equation between justification and morality, standing at the equilibrium point. This has been lacking from INEC. Now, you cannot appoint a woman that is quite controversial, that has been tainted as having
sorry to cut you in, but sorry to cut you in, Mr. Deji, but we were told the same woman was used, during the PDP time, and there wasn't any problem. So why is it a problem now?
Thank you. In advanced countries, once you are participating in a process and you appear controversial, or a controversy has been raised against you, for you to clear the minds of those raising the allegations against you, the thing is you step aside. We have this in the judiciary too. Once you place an allegation of biasment against a judge, the most responsible thing for that judge is to step aside. So if the PDP has used this woman and then there was no controversy, and now there are different controversies, not only from the PDP, I think it is just naturally right. And even with the regional structure of the heads of agencies that will be conducting the election now, there are so many people in the top echelon of INEC. It mustn't be Ajia Aminat Zakari. It could have been any other person, just to make sure that the process is as transparent and as credible as possible. If you and I are going into a football match, I will be going into that football contest with you and accept the result of that contest if my mind is playing towards the referee. Once I begin to cast doubt on the ability of the referee, or I beginning to say the referee is your niece or your brother or your something, that alone, okay, let's look at something. Aminat Zachary is the head of the collation center for the election result. What if something happens on that day and there's some form of unforeseen circumstances? Maybe while collecting the result, the generator naturally, without our influence, just malfunction. What if PHCN just sees the electricity? What if the internet network just fluctuates? What will people say? People will say, oh, we have said it, that she is going to compromise the process. So it can be another person, even within the inner circle of Amina Zakari, but must not be her. Now, Nigerians don't know how to play politics the right way. Even if you want to compromise the process, whether you are compromising it or not, once there is a controversy against you, certify the interest of the public. Make the public perception. Public perception is very important when it comes to election. They can also pick another person to oversee that collation center, and may God spare our life. If anything should happen on that day, this is a recipe for crisis, because people have already casted doubt on the ability of this woman.
Wow. Let us, I hope you're still there with me. Once again, this is Starr Radio UK, and, being joined all the way from Lagos by Mr. Deji. Just before,
Hello, yes.
yeah, can you,
Yes, I can hear you loud.
yeah, just before
I can hear you loud.
I'll let you continue. Because we're still looking at if INEC is ready and really ready, for this election, and you've been looking at, those, circumstances. What I want us to, slightly touch on, again, as there's a new IG that has now been installed. The PRO to the police has been changed. Good timing for an election that is about 30 days away, and moving around the most important security force in terms of this individual. What is your take on that? I mean, is the president right? Even though a lot of people were saying yes, the president should bring in a new individual, but now that this new individual has been appointed, but do you think the right timing is okay, as the election is also involved security around INEC and around the whole country, to make sure that we have a free and fair election come 2019 in less than 30 days from today?
Yeah, for we that are on ground in Nigeria right now, and looking at the political climate of the country right now, I must say that one of the best decision made by President Muhammadu Buhari so far in 2019, to me, as somebody that has his eyes on the political landscape of the country, is the retrenchment of the immediate past Inspector General of Police. There has been so much controversy surrounding his person in terms of biasment. So it may not be too right to change the Inspector General of Police 30 days to the election. But then he didn't just change the Inspector General of Police. He has attained his retirement age. And he changing this Inspector General of Police alone has doused a lot of tension. People are already warming up for protests. People are already warming up to file suit against, the government on why the man should be retained. The immediate past Inspector General of Police has been so very political, so very biased. He is one of the people that plays the I love you more than God approach. And I say, without any fear of favor, that once you see people begin to play this I love you more than God approach, then you need to be very careful. The immediate past IG has been playing the I love you more than God approach in favor of the Buhari presidency. He has forgotten that he is a public servant, and a time will come that he will not be in the force again. So he has been through a lot of controversies, through a lot of compromise, very political, very biased, which is not good for the image of the election. So changing the IG at this point in time, pick any topic on the social media relating to the IG and just look at the comments. You will see Nigerians appreciating the president. You will see Nigerians happy. You will see comments that they are making about the IG. In fact, to be sincere with you, without any fear or favor, in recent times, as long as I can remember, the immediate past IG in Nigeria is one of the worst IG that I have ever seen in recent times. I wrote in one of my pieces that under the immediate past IG, politics is the switch that determines the operations of the Nigerian police. Politics is like the off and on switch of your home when you switch on your bulb on and off. Politics has became, because he has left the position now, became the switch that determines the operation of the Nigerian police. And if you look at the name, it is Nigerian police, not President Buhari police,
Wow.
not APC police, Nigerian police. So anybody in that kind of position, in a force whereby we operate a top-down approach in our chain of command, in our formations, top-down chain of command. So in that kind of system, if you have an IG that is very, very political, very biased, that have lost the confidence of the Nigerian masses, of course you can expect that it will affect the credibility of the electoral process, because all it takes a very compromised IG is to post favorable people as the commissioner of police into the 36 states of the federation, and those ones too will also issue a straight down command which will compromise the electoral process. So it's a good thing that the IG was shown the way out of office, and I congratulate Nigerians and the president himself.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. Once again, if you've just joined us, this is Starr Radio UK, Niger Voices, coming to you every Wednesday, the first one in 2019. You will be able to participate as the phone line is now open. You could call the studio line on, if you're ringing outside UK, +44 208 133 or it is +44 208 133 and still on the line with me for another 15 minutes, all the way from Lagos, is a political analyst, and we hope we will have you call into the studio. One thing, thank you very much, all the way from Abeokuta in Ogun State, Mr. Samuel Olatunde. Thank you very much, Jagumolu Oluwadare Lasisi. We hope we will have you in the studio, whatever way, by Skype, one of these Wednesday edition as well. 30 days to the election is what we are discussing. It's very, very important for Nigerians all over the world, not just Nigerians at home. We are sending a lot of money home, and we are also as much of doing a lot, back home as well, in different fields. So we hope, this election will be free and fair. Just to touch back on the IG, the new one, will he be able to get the grasp of, everything within the next 30 days? Looking at, a country like Nigeria, very complex. With the new IG, we know the previous one was sent to Benue. It wasn't there. The president even said himself that he didn't know that, my IG was never at Benue. But let's look at the new IG, Inspector General of Police that have been appointed by the presidency. Do you think he will have, the capacity to make sure that, every, polling unit will be well secured? Every polling unit, people will be able to go there and do their duty, their constitutional right by going there to vote without any problem. Making sure that we protect, the INEC materials, because we're still looking at, the INEC. And, when you touch on that, and before you summarize what we've been discussing in the last almost 46 minutes with you, and I say thank you very much once again. Before you summarize, tell me, the new Inspector General of Police, will he have, yes, he has, everything in his possession, in terms of the manpower, but the knowledge compared to the one that just left not too long ago, less than for 24 hours or so. What is your take on that?
The new Inspector General of Police does not have what it takes to provide good support to the INEC, provide adequate security. And why do I say so? I would have given him a pass mark that he has what it takes, especially in terms of manpower. Nigeria is under policed, and we have a situation whereby our election is like war. Election in Nigeria is like going to war. It's like the politicians are going to fight the battles of their lives. So if the election is being conducted in a region of the country, two states in the country, or a state in the country, I would have said, okay, the IG would deploy, his manpower and available resources. But this is a national election, a situation whereby we want to conduct a gubernatorial election in Osun State and we deploy 30,000 policemen. When we deploy 30,000 policemen, we have reduced the manpower in other state command, nearby states. Now, let me tell you what happened recently during the Osun State election. During the Osun State election, the Nigerian police withdrew men from neighboring states like Ekiti. Now, majority of the policemen were at Ekiti supervising the conduct of the election. The election was over politicized. Like, there was so much heavy security, army, police, civil defense. And at the end of the day, a robbery took place in Ekiti State. Now, the armed robbers have a free day. Why? Because we have deployed the manpower from the state to another state, all because of election, undermining the security of that state. So now, this is a national election whereby you cannot pack the policemen in a state and deploy them to another state, because election is also going on in that particular state, in no state of the federation. And if you look at it very well, the Nigerian police doesn't have adequate manpower right now. The way people are, arming the Nigerian police in terms of, kidnapping, laying ambush for them, assassinating them. And if you look at the way the Nigerian police is recruiting, the recruitment process, we don't recruit as much as possible. So that will affect the ability of the IG. But as the IG been performing well in the last 24 hours, has he shown the willingness to deliver? Is it acting the right way? I will tell you yes, because under 24 hours, the IG has reversed the controversial last-minute appointment made by the immediate past IG. He has also appointed a new spokesperson in the person of Frank Uba for the Nigerian police force. And I applaud him, because I think one of the mistakes President Buhari made in the appointment of this IG is he made two mistakes. Now, the first mistake is he had the opportunity to have put in another person, somebody from another ethnic tribe, from another region in the country, preferably the South. He would have won a lot of accolades from Nigerians, but in his usual nepotistic and chauvinistic manner, he still appoints the acting IG now from the North. The second mistake the president made is providing this kind of disaffection in the Nigerian police, which is very wrong. If you want to appoint IG, we have DIGs before AIGs. Now, if you have Deputy Inspector General of Police who are senior men to the Assistant Inspector General of Police, why not pick one of these DIGs? Why force them into retirement? Then you go and pick their junior colleague as the IG. These things cause disaffection in the Nigerian police force, because I have somebody that is close to me that is a senior police officer. This thing cause serious disaffection, and the implication is that all these top police officers, from DIGs, AIGs, they have their own boys in the system. So if you by force retire their oga, the bad belly, the disaffection that they have against the force, that their own boss, if he had been given the opportunity to be IG, that they would have a good say and have a good posting in the force, and you retire such people, it creates a disaffection, wow, in the minds of the boys of these top police officers. Now that the president has appointed an AIG, all the deputy inspector general of police will be forced into retirement. Wow. And some of these deputy inspector general of police are brilliant officers that have put in their best into the service of the Nigerian police. It is not possible.
Hold your thought there. Let us just chip in a little bit, before you round up. There's a lot of pressure, back home, and I think when there's pressure, there must also be something that we're gonna play a little bit. And that is Raskimono. May so continue to rest in peace. There's a lot of pressure back home. I could cite you there. The governorship candidate for Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Ogbadamose. We hope we will have you very soon on Starr Radio UK, Niger Voices. Let's just listen to Raskimono for about a few minutes, and we can go back where Deji will give us his conclusion on the IG and summary of what we've been discussing, the election coming up in Nigeria. A lot of pressure. One thing about Nigeria is everywhere you go, it looks like there's pressure. There's pressure everywhere. For 2 months I was in Nigeria, there was just so much pressure. And this is what we are discussing, the election coming. And live still with me in Lagos is Mr. Deji. He will be coming back in just about a few minutes. Let's just hit a little bit more on Raskimono. So much pressure back home, left and right is always a pressure. Let us get back. We will play that music, continue later on. Let's not go back again to Mr. Day. I just have to play that music. I hope you're still with me there.
No, yes.
Because the pressure that Nigerians are facing on a day-to-day is just too much. I mean, each time I was in Nigeria, the traffic is crazy. There's no electricity, the internet connection, healthcare, education, welfare. It looks like we have so much pressure for the last 58 years, and we would have thought by now pressure would have been reduced, but it doesn't seem to be reducing. Just before you round up, in just about 5 minutes from now, give us more from the IG, if you still want to say on that, or just give us a kind of summary in the last almost exactly 56 minutes that I've been with you, and I need to let you go because I know your station and you need to continue, so that maybe by now the traffic will have reduced, and you tell us what part of location you are in Lagos right now with the traffic. I'll go back to you again in Lagos.
Okay, to conclude my thought on the IG issue, if in the Nigerian judiciary the highest man in rank automatically takes over when another man retires, if in the Nigerian university system only a professor can become a vice chancellor, not a doctorate holder or a master, or even an associate, if he's a full professor, that usually becomes a vice chancellor, and a full professor is the highest academic, rank or title that anybody can have. Now, why do we usually form the habit of sidelining the DIGs when it gets to their turn? Once the IG retire, we sideline them, then we go to the AIGs. I think this is not right. Then, currently now, today I've been, around moving so many places. I've been around Ojo, Alaba. Now I'm currently around this Funshaw Williams Avenue, heading towards Surulere.
And what is the traffic like since up to now? What is the traffic like?
Well, traffic is a constant thing in Lagos, Nigeria, and the reason why we have so much traffic is because in a densely populated city like Lagos, the only viable transportation means is through the road. The rails are not functioning. I think when we have a rail system, monorail, water transport, if all these means are effective, these will reduce the level of traffic on the road. And to now make matters worse, we don't have alternative means of transporting ourselves except on the road. The roads are even terrible.
Wow.
They are not motorable. They are bad.
Maybe
So
tell us how they're going to turn around things if any one of them becomes the next governor of Lagos State. So just in less than 50 seconds, what would you like to tell Nigerians? And you'll be joining me for the next 30 days so that we can look into this election. I hope I'll be in Nigeria just in time before the election. But since you're still on ground, we will continue to make use of you. While we're still waiting for that connection to come back, so just tell us in about 50 seconds before you
yeah,
go.
loud and clear. Can you please repeat the
I
question?
said, just
I
tell
think I
us
missed that line.
in just about 50 seconds from now your closing remark.
Well, my closing remarks is Nigerians should vote with their conscience. This is another opportunity to do the right thing. If we keep doing the wrong thing, don't expect that the right thing will come to you through magic.
Wow.
Yorubas will say that you need to stay hungry today so that you will not stay hungry forever.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a particular Yoruba day that says that. But if you are thinking of what to benefit in the political system, whereby you are mixing APC rice with PDP Maggi, using AAC groundnut oil, and using, SDP 1,000, 2,000. And at the end of the day, you will now say people are not performing. How will they perform? Look for credible candidates with a vision. Give people the opportunity to serve. Don't have this mindset that your vote don't count. No, your vote count. I told someone that, do you know that as powerful as President Buhari is, he is the number one citizen in Nigeria right now. But do you know that this powerful president, this number one person out of 200 million people, needs the vote of the most vulnerable people, the cripple, the blind, as long as they are Nigerian and they are 18 years old and they have PVCs. He needs their vote to keep his job.
Wow.
He needs their vote to remain in power. That shows the power of your vote. And a broom, just one tiny piece of a broom, cannot sweep. Now, but if you have a bunch of broom, it will deliver the right result. So now, once we can put our votes together and vote the right way, hold government accountable, believe in yourself, believe in a greater Nigeria, do the right thing so that you can get the right result
Wow.
going forward.
That's it. Do the right thing. You'll be joining us again next week, Wednesday, and we hope we will have you via the Skype, and then people can be able to see the good face of you as well. Once again, I'd like to say a massive, massive thank you for joining Nigeria Voices on our first edition.